There are a lot of travel videos on the internet. I've been making my own for several years now, and over that time, I've developed an approach that helps me to stay on track. To ensure that the work is as good as it can be and that I'm doing it for the right reasons. Today, I want to share that approach with you. Before we get going, I did want to ask you, did you like that intro? Because if you did, it might have had something to do with the sound effects, all of which came from the sponsor of today's video, my good friends over at Epidemic Sound. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know that Epidemic Sound and I go way back. I've been working with them for several years now. They've been my main source for all of my sound effects. By using Epidemic Sound, you get access to a massive library of amazing sound effects. And when I say massive, I mean like 90,000 plus sound effects. A lot of the time you'll find a single sound effect with dozens of different versions. You can go through those and find exactly what you're looking for. And it's not just sound effects, they also have a bunch of great music as well. And one feature that I really appreciate is that you can download the individual stems of a track. So if you find a track you like, but you think it would sound better without the drums, then you can download all those stems individually and just chop the drums out yourself. All right, listen closely because this is where it gets good. There is a link in the description of this video where you can sign up for a free trial of either a personal or commercial plan. And you can also use the code Aidin50 at checkout to get 50% off of an annual personal plan. So you can get a 1-year personal subscription, access to all of these sound effects for your projects for $54. It's silly, it's absurd, frankly it's obnoxious, it's a laughable discount. It's thanks to sponsors like Epidemic Sound that I can go out and make these videos for you as a full-time gig, which is sick. So thanks again, and let's get on with this one. All right, so the overarching approach that I've taken to creating travel videos is to treat the location as the main character. You see a lot of videos that use travel as kind of a pretty backdrop to talk about themselves, essentially. The video is more about the act of being able to travel or themes like wanderlust and jet setting rather than the actual places that you're traveling to. A location is culturally and geographically unique, and it's deeply important to the people who call it home, and you do a massive disservice to that place by not treating it as such. And I found this approach of treating the location as a character rather than just the setting to be a really helpful way to stay on track with that. And there are a few kind of key points where this comes in, concrete ways that I apply this throughout the process to make sure that I'm not, disrespecting the location I'm making a video about. I won't lie to you, conditions are not looking particularly promising. We've got a lot of cloud in all of the wrong places, just a whole lot of just thick, nasty gray cloud that has a pretty good chance of just blocking that sun out entirely. So we'll see, I'm holding out, but not getting my hopes up. All right, I take it back. As usual, this starts before you even think about going anywhere because the research is incredibly important. Trips almost always go more smoothly and yield better results when they're well researched. That includes logistics, like finding trails and spots to shoot, looking into public transit and camping fees, but it also includes just doing the best you can to understand this place before you go there, understanding the local customs and characteristics that make it unique. Last year I took a trip to the Dolomites, and the most prominent theme that came out in my research before the trip was duality. Not just this aesthetic duality of cozy little towns and homes against this very menacing mountain backdrop, but also cultural and linguistic duality. A lot of the Dolomites is technically in Italy, but it's culturally Austrian. People speak German and live in Austrian-style homes. There's also even a bit of a technological duality. You see a lot of incredibly old architecture and towns, but also very new technology, like the ridiculous public transit in the mountains out there. So to reflect that theme of duality, I ended up making a video that repeatedly switched back and forth between two styles. And that whole creative direction for that video was informed by that research. Probably the best way to research a location is to seek some local insight. Just ask someone who lives there. The locals are gonna know information that tourism boards and travel blogs probably aren't including in their material. And they also know the best spots, particularly the ones that most of the tourist crowd doesn't know about. For example, if I have a friend traveling to the Blue Ridge, then I'll probably recommend them this fire tower. It's a beautiful spot with an incredible view, and the tourist crowd has no idea that it's here. You kind of have to live here to know about it. That is, for now. It only takes one viral geotagged Instagram post for a spot like this to become heavily trafficked, but I'm enjoying it while it lasts. The ultimate goal of all of this research is to determine a creative direction to follow throughout making this video. And usually that means, for me at least, leaning into what makes that location unique. What can you experience and capture there that you can't anywhere else? That could be a collection of unique elements or a single overarching theme, like, again, duality, for example, with the Alps. That unique characteristic will determine all of the creative choices I make for the rest of the project. Where I go, how I shoot, how I edit, everything. I've found this to be kind of a helpful system for making sure that I stay true to the locations I'm portraying. It's important to make sure you don't go somewhere and kind of make a video pretending that it's somewhere else. For example, you can compare the landscape of Madeira in Portugal pretty easily to the landscape of Hawaii. But if you go to Madeira and make a video as though you're in Hawaii, it's not gonna hit because they're completely culturally different, and a good travel video will reflect that. Okay, so I can't make this up. The next part of this video was about the importance of always having your camera at the ready and being able to capture unexpected moments, and I could not have asked for a better backdrop. Come on, this is the best possible example of what I'm talking about. All right, where was I? A lot of the time when we travel, filmmakers and photographers go on trips, we'll maybe go out and shoot sunset and sunrise, and then the rest of the day is empty. You don't shoot anything. Or if we're going on a hike, then the camera stays in the bag until you reach the summit or the viewpoint. But by doing that, you leave a lot of potential footage on the table, because the best moments and the most authentic moments in particular don't necessarily happen at the summit. It's not always at the sunrise view. Every trip I go on, there's some footage that I never expected to get that just like showed up while we were driving between locations or in the middle of a hike, and it turns out being some of my favorite footage from that trip. This being an example, this is some of the coolest footage that I've gotten out here in a while, and it just happened on the drive from one location to another. And even if it isn't like the most pristine sunrise or sunset lighting, it happens in the middle of the day, those moments are still so important for making a well-rounded, authentic video. So it's important to make sure you're ready to capture those when they happen. As of late, I've been carrying my camera on a shoulder clip on the outside of my bag rather than keeping it inside of the bag, and I've also been keeping it on the floorboard when I'm driving between locations. That way my camera is always at the ready if something unexpected and beautiful or interesting happens, like this. Finally, I want to leave you with a big one, which is just to try not to mess up the places that you travel to. Unfortunately, examples of the consequences of over-tourism can be found pretty much anywhere you travel, and it's important to not be a part of the problem. That can mean not trespassing where you're shooting, not geotagging photos that you end up posting from your trips, and also, if you have an audience especially, encouraging other people to travel with respect as well. At the end of the day, this video and this approach as a whole is really just about having an appreciation for the places you travel, rather than just using them as a pretty backdrop to get nice photos. And this is a huge part of that. All that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed filming it. Conditions this morning have been absolutely outrageous, despite me being a bit of a pessimist when I first showed up this morning. I definitely take that back in hindsight. Thanks again to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this one. Remember, use that link in the description for a free trial. Use the code Aidin50 to get a ridiculous discount. If you have the opportunity, plan a trip, go somewhere cool, learn some stuff about that location in the process, get a little smarter. It's a lot more fulfilling that way. I'll see you in a couple weeks.